Today, we begin a journey into the heart of secrets that have been hidden for centuries behind the impenetrable walls of the Vatican. These walls have seen more than the human mind can endure, and heard the cries of souls no one dares speak of anymore. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verse 2, comes a warning. There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing concealed that will not be known. With these words, we open the gates to a world where light and darkness are tightly entwined. Imagine a manuscript so enormous and sinister that its pages seem to whisper on their own. Codex Gigas, more commonly known as the Devil's Bible, is an ancient artifact that still terrifies even the most steadfast researchers. This is not just a book. It is a portal to a time when despair could drive a man to strike a deal with those whose names are better left unspoken. Legend tells us, in the 13th century, a monk condemned for breaking his sacred vows was sentenced to a brutal death. To save his life, he promised his abbot a book that would contain all human knowledge, to be completed in a single night. As midnight tolled and the ink on his fingers dried, he realized the task was impossible, so he did the unthinkable. He summoned a diabolical force. They say the demon answered. In exchange for the monk's soul, it placed in his hand the power to finish the book before sunrise. And when the first light touched the grim monastery walls, the manuscript was complete. The Devil's Bible contains not only the full text of the Vulgate, but also medical treatises, magical formulas, and detailed instructions for exorcisms. Yet most terrifying of all is an illustration filling an entire page. A giant figure with horns and a forked tongue, whose hollow eyes seem to follow anyone who dares to look too long. Some claim to hear whispers from within the book, chilling their bones. You are already too close. Today, Codex Gigas is kept in Sweden's Royal Library, but there are those who believe the Vatican possesses the original, or at least an ancient copy, hidden deep within its archival labyrinths. If true, the question remains, why would the Church keep such a book secret? Are they afraid the truth will become public, or are they protecting the world from a revelation it cannot handle? This is only the beginning, one of the most sinister artifacts in human history. But far more lies in the shadows, secrets that could redefine our very existence. Will you dare to take the next step? Hidden within the depths of ancient lore are figures whose size and strength far exceeded anything a normal human body could produce. The Nephilim, giants mentioned in the book of Genesis, beings born from the union of the sons of God and the daughters of men. But who were they really? Angels fallen into flesh? Or the first attempts at altering humanity on a molecular level? There is a theory, whispered only in the darkest corners of the internet and within the halls of secret societies. It claims that a rare blood type, Rh negative, may be a remnant of these ancient beings. This blood defies conventional laws of heredity, its presence in the human genome remaining a mystery to modern science. Consider this. Rh negative blood is found in less than 15% of the world's population. Where did it come from? Why do some mothers with this blood type experience immune conflict when carrying a fetus with a positive Rh factor? Does this not suggest that this blood may have origins beyond Earth? Some researchers speculate that the Vatican holds proof of this connection deep within its subterranean laboratories. Ancient DNA samples, remains of Nephilim retrieved from hidden archaeological digs in the Middle East. It is said these discoveries are kept from the scientific community because their revelation would upend the established order. Now imagine a vault lit by the dim glow of oil lamps, where sarcophagi of black stone hold the bones of giants. Their lengths exceed 6 meters. Their skulls are elongated in ways eerily reminiscent of deities carved into the bas-reliefs of ancient Egypt. If these bones are real, If Nephilim blood still flows in the veins of some among us, who are we really? Mere descendants of primates, or carriers of genetic memory from star-born visitors? The questions multiply like shadows in an abandoned temple. Why would the Vatican, with such knowledge in its grasp, remain silent? Perhaps because the truth about our origins is incompatible with the dogmas upon which the entire structure of faith was built, or perhaps because this truth is too dangerous to let loose upon the world. Every drop of blood in our veins may carry the story of an ancient fall, a rebellion, and a merging of worlds. Perhaps we ourselves are the outcome of an experiment still ongoing, and if so, all of humanity teeters on the brink of a realization. We were never the sole masters of this planet. The Vatican, a city where every stone holds secrets and the corridors whisper tales of lost souls. Yet one mystery haunts the hearts of those who have dared to peer behind the veil of this sacred fortress. The disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi, a 15-year-old Vatican citizen who vanished in the summer of 1983, remains one of the darkest and most unsolved enigmas of our time. Emanuela vanished after a music lesson in Rome. No farewells, no signs of struggle, only a chilling silence surrounding her last known steps. Decades have passed, yet the shadows of her story linger, creeping through the most sacred halls where paintings of saints seem to watch with silent judgment. In 2019, hope flickered again. Investigators opened 2 tombs at the Teutonic Cemetery in the Vatican, believing Emanuela's remains might lie hidden there. But when the heavy lids were pried open, they found nothing but emptiness. No bones, no answers, only silence, louder and more terrifying than before. Then attention turned to a statue of an angel nearby. Its gaze was fixed on the location of the emptied graves, eyes seemingly forever watching those who seek the truth. Was this coincidence? Or a warning? Some believe the angel is a sentinel, guarding a secret humanity is not ready to hear. Rumors coiled like serpents in a narrow well. Some spoke of organized crime involvement. Others pointed to clandestine societies within the Vatican itself, claiming Emanuela's disappearance was part of a darker, more sinister game of power. Every corridor, every locked door within these walls seems steeped in her story. Whispers are heard, invisible eyes seem to follow anyone bold enough to ask questions. Could the answer lie deeper still, in those underground catacombs known only to the initiated? And if so, should anyone dare to descend? Emanuela Orlandi has become a symbol not only of tragedy, but of an unrelenting quest for truth. Her disappearance is a wound that refuses to heal, a wound from which new rumors, speculations, and fears seep endlessly. Perhaps somewhere in the Vatican's shadows, the truth still waits for its moment to come to light. What if everything we know about human history is but a thin layer of paint, concealing beneath it older, far more terrifying images? What if, deep within the Vatican, behind steel doors and ancient seals, lie fragments of knowledge capable of redefining our reality itself? There exists a theory few dare to speak aloud. It claims that within the sacred fortress are stored not only the chronicles of the Church, but also pieces of extraterrestrial artifacts, fragments of ships, crystals of unknown properties, and possibly even the remains of beings not born of this earth. These rumors stretch back to the days of World War II, when Nazi expeditions allegedly uncovered strange technologies in Antarctica, sparking secret Vatican meetings between cardinals and scientists to discuss the nature of these discoveries, devices capable of cloaking, altering gravity, and opening portals to other dimensions. Imagine a vault where strange metallic constructions rest under the dim glow of halogen lights. Their surfaces are cold, yet when touched, there is a sense that something within stirs awake. Who crafted these objects, and why would the Vatican, a body seemingly far removed from science, guard them so fiercely? Now consider something more terrestrial but equally chilling. The doctrine of discovery, a series of papal bulls in the 15th century, legitimized the conquest and colonization of lands inhabited by non-Christians. These decrees granted European powers the divine right to enslave and eradicate indigenous peoples. What if alien technologies and these doctrines are connected? What if the Church used knowledge not of this world to consolidate its power and extend its influence across the planet? The doctrine of discovery is not merely a historical fact. It is the manifestation of a philosophy that deemed certain peoples chosen and others mere obstacles. Millions of lives were extinguished, their blood and bones becoming the invisible bricks for imperial thrones. The question is not whether the Vatican holds secrets. The question is how many lives those secrets have already changed, and how many more they will change. For if there truly exist technologies in their vaults that can manipulate time, space, and matter, does it mean human history has been rewritten more than once? The truth may be far more horrifying than any lie. And perhaps this is why such secrets remain buried in darkness, guarded by the silence of those sworn not to protect humanity, but to preserve power itself. Let us descend deeper, into places where sunlight has never touched the walls. In the heart of the Vatican lies a world known only to the chosen few. Here, among stone arches and damp vaults, rests the exorcist's chamber, a place whispered about by the Church and unknown to the common faithful. Picture a long corridor whose walls are etched with ancient symbols, worn by time yet still emanating power. The scent of incense mingles with mold and something less definable, like the breath of evil itself. This is where rituals are performed that are never recorded in books. Here priests in white cassocks battle darkness that hides within human flesh. It is said the chamber holds relics, vessels of myrrh, splinters of crosses, and ancient grimoires whose pages are inscribed with incantations in long-dead languages. In one corner stands a chair with leather straps to restrain the possessed. Its wood is blackened by the tears and blood of those who fought for their souls here. But this is only the beginning. Descend further, down narrow stone steps, and you will find yourself in the catacombs, hidden beneath the Vatican gardens. These tunnels, twisting like the bowels of a sleeping beast, were the final resting place for cardinals and priests who vanished under mysterious circumstances. Legends claim some of the bones here are not human. Among ordinary skeletons are said to be strange remains, with elongated skulls and deformed joints. Some whisper these creatures were the results of ancient experiments in exorcism, when the Church, in desperation, sought to purge evil, not only from souls, but from blood itself. The damp air of the catacombs weighs heavily, pressing on the chest and quickening the breath. Whispers echo off the walls, impossible to tell if they are mere sounds or something watching every step. Torchlight flickers, casting shadows that resemble disfigured faces upon the stone. Why are these places hidden from the world? Perhaps because the Church fears not the leak of information, but the possibility that someone might hear what the darkness, trapped within these walls, still whispers. Or maybe they fear the day when that darkness will awaken. The Vatican's catacombs are not merely a repository of bodies. They are an archive of forgotten pain and silent bargains. Here, beneath layers of stone, lies a history no one is meant to uncover. A history of those who gave their lives battling forces we cannot even imagine, and perhaps their souls still wait for release. Deep within the Vatican, behind massive doors inscribed with symbols known only to the chosen, lies a place so dangerous that even many cardinals dare not speak of it. This is the secret library, an archive of knowledge so perilous that its very existence is denied in public. Yet rumors persist, whispering that within these walls are texts capable of shattering the foundation of faith itself. Picture a hall lit only by the dim glow of candles, the air thick with dust and the scent of ancient pages. Endless shelves stretch into darkness, crowded with manuscripts, scrolls, and books bearing languages long exiled from human memory. Here rest the Gnostic Gospels, texts rejected by church councils, where Christ speaks not of sin but of inner awakening. Here lie the Apocrypha, telling of fallen angels, hidden realms, and cycles of eternal return. It is said the library even contains grimoires, books of magic penned by those who dared gaze into the abyss and returned with revelations too dangerous for daylight. Their pages emit a faint glow, and those who opened them claimed to hear the breath of something otherworldly behind them. Why are these books hidden? Perhaps because for centuries the Church has fought not only for souls, but for control over truth itself. Truth is a blade. It can heal, but it can also destroy. Imagine if millions learned that many dogmas were built on selective texts and the suppression of alternative histories, that the faith we know is but a fragment of a larger picture, painted with the intent to govern. Yet, even more unsettling is the suggestion that the library holds records of contact, evidence of meetings with beings called angels, but possibly of another kind altogether. These documents, if real, would transform our understanding of heaven and hell. All of this lies beyond doors that no iron key can open. Only the initiated know the rituals that allow entry and a return. For the unprepared, crossing that threshold is akin to signing their own death warrant. The secret library is not merely a collection of ancient texts. It is the heart of oblivion, where the knowledge of who we were, who we are, and who we might yet become is locked away. But are we ready to pay the price of such truth? Within the apostolic palace, down echoing halls carpeted in centuries of dust, footsteps are heard where no one should walk. They say it is he, Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borgia, the most scandalous pope in history. His shadow, they claim, roams the chambers where his commands of greed and betrayal once echoed. Witnesses speak of air turning frigid, candles extinguishing without warning, and mirrors revealing a papal figure whose face is twisted in eternal remorse. This ghost is not merely a lost soul. He is the warden of his own sins, chained to these walls by the weight of his corruption. Each night, it is said, he returns to the throne he defiled, whispering prayers that dissolve into wails, chilling enough to freeze the heart. But the ghost is only a harbinger of darker secrets. Deep within Vatican vaults, secured by 7 locks and prayer keys, lies what is known as the relics of Judas, the 30 silver coins for which Iscariot betrayed Christ. Legend warns that each coin carries the curse of treachery. Those who have held them have gone mad or died under strange circumstances. One archive speaks of a 17th century cardinal who dared to touch the coins, only to be found dead in his cell, his face frozen in horror, and deep claw marks gouged into the walls, as if he tried to scratch his way out of reality itself. Why does the Vatican keep these relics instead of destroying them? Perhaps because they cannot be destroyed. Perhaps these coins are not mere metal, but vessels of darkness, imbued with the energy of betrayal itself. Some researchers believe these relics are used in secret rituals by the Church's highest echelons, not for reverence, but for control. For to rule the world, one must understand the nature of sin. And what greater symbol of sin exists than silver washed in the blood of the Messiah? Thus we stand before 2 shadows, one of a man whose sins were never absolved, and one of 30 coins that altered history. Both remind us that power and betrayal are forever entwined, and if the Vatican keeps them hidden, perhaps it is not to protect the world, but to protect itself from the world. There are pages in papal history spoken of only in whispers, if at all. Legends claim the Holy See has for centuries employed papal doubles, men uncannily similar to the pontiffs themselves, used to confuse enemies and protect the true head of the Church. Witnesses reported seeing the Pope in 2 places at once, on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and in the palace corridors. Historians dismiss these as clerical errors, but conspiracy researchers insist these were substitutes, prepared not only in appearance but in essence. Secret archives speak of a program begun in the mid-20th century, Protocol Chronos, with the aim of creating not mere lookalikes, but perfect replicas. Biotechnologies unknown to the public reportedly allowed even voices and micro-expressions to be copied. It is whispered that, in the Vatican's underground labs, humans were born with altered genomes, empty vessels ready to receive the memories of the real Pope. Yet, this is only the surface of a darker truth. Beneath 7 levels of secrecy lies a project known as the Vatican Time Machine. Rumors claim that in the depths of the archive stands a device built from ancient texts and technologies salvaged from crashed spacecraft, a massive sarcophagus-like apparatus surrounded by rings etched with runes and crystals glowing with a cold, alien light. This mechanism is said to allow not only glimpses into the past, but the ability to adjust it. Imagine the Church observing pivotal moments in history, from Christ's crucifixion to the fall of the Roman Empire, and influencing their outcomes. How different might the world be if such corrections were real? Some believe the Church's survival through centuries of wars, schisms, and scandals was no accident. They say the time machine allowed threats to be foreseen and eliminated before they could manifest. But such knowledge came at a terrible price. Chronicles speak of men who entered the sarcophagus and returned not themselves, their eyes vacant, their minds haunted by visions of infinite timelines where they died over and over. If these stories hold any truth, one question lingers. Can anyone wielding control over time remain human? And if the past can be changed, does free will truly exist? Or are we all pawns in a game whose script was written long before our birth? Beneath the Vatican lies a world unknown to millions of believers. Deeper than the catacombs, beyond ancient tunnels carved long before St. Peter's Basilica was ever raised, rests a pagan temple the Church has spent centuries trying to erase from human memory. This temple is a relic of a time when gods were many-faced, and priests whispered incantations in the shadows of stone altars. Here, among broken columns and half-destroyed statues of forgotten deities, echoes of rituals linger. When sacrificial blood dripped onto cold stone and the smoke of sacred herbs curled toward cracks in the ceiling, reaching for the heavens. It is said that within these walls lies one of the Vatican's most enigmatic relics, the Seal of Solomon. This ancient artifact, according to legend, grants dominion over demons and spirits, allowing a mortal to bend their will. The seal appears as a 6-pointed star inscribed in a circle, surrounded by unknown runes. At its center rests a gem that glimmers like a frozen drop of blood. There are theories that the Church uses this relic not merely to banish darkness, but to command it. For what could be more perilous than a power not to destroy evil, but to wield it? Some believe the Seal of Solomon became the key to establishing the Vatican as an institution capable of surviving wars, heresies, and cataclysms. The atmosphere in the temple is heavy, like viscous darkness pressing against the chest. Walls are covered in ancient inscriptions, some lost to time, others scrubbed clean by priests desperate to erase the past. But a few words remain visible. By fire and blood, the gates shall open. What if it was here that rituals were performed to grant the Vatican authority beyond earthly understanding? What if the old gods never disappeared but merely changed shape, becoming icons, crosses, and symbols of the new faith? This temple serves as a reminder. Truth is layered, and each layer conceals another, darker and more dangerous. Perhaps it was here, among dust and stone, that what we now call the Holy See was truly born. Amid the marble halls and gilded domes of the Vatican lies a world absent from chronicles, a world existing in shadow, beyond official records and pious faces. Here, deep underground, gathers the Shadow Conclave, a secret order of cardinals, bishops, and those whose names have never been spoken in public. This conclave is not merely a council of men, it is a living system, an architecture of reality itself. They do not elect popes. They shape events so that the pope is elected. They do not defend the church. They design futures where the church remains atop the world, rewriting history as often as needed. According to classified documents discovered by only a few, the conclave possesses technologies fusing ancient mystical knowledge with cutting-edge science. Rumors speak of quantum servers storing forecasts of possible timelines and algorithms calculating social and political catastrophes centuries ahead. These data are augmented by esoteric rituals using the Seal of Solomon, Judas's silver coins, and other artifacts we have already encountered. But behind this cold machinery lies something greater. Do you hear it? The whisper not outside, but within you. It is the voice of those who have ruled human fear and hope for centuries. It says softly, "Truth is not light, but shadow, and only he who accepts the darkness will see all." Could it be that the Shadow Conclave made an unseen pact with forces beyond this world? Their gatherings combine prayers and formulas, algorithms and incantations. They claim to maintain a balance between chaos and order. But who decides where that balance should lie? Imagine a chamber with a stone circle inlaid with crystals and copper wires. Here, magic and technology converge. Here, decisions are forged that alter the course of wars, collapse economies, and ignite revolutions. Now ask yourself, what if our history is not the product of chaos, but a meticulously engineered script? What if every revolution, every war, and every pandemic was calculated to the last detail? You hear the guide's voice fade, almost whispering, "You wanted the truth." But are you ready to live with it? Ready to accept that the world is not a path, but a labyrinth built to keep you searching for a way out? And now, at the very core, you see them, figures in black robes, faces obscured by masks. They do not pray. They calculate. They program. They draw circles and formulas on cold marble, weaving ancient incantations and quantum equations into a single line. This is not an ending. It is the beginning of an awakening. While you sought the light, the darkness learned to command the light. And if the Vatican hides these secrets, perhaps it is not to protect them from the world, but to protect the world from them.